Hi everyone, welcome back to our YouTube channel. My name is Irene Kadhambi.
And I am Eunice Ndambi, and today we are talking about some of topics that when we were growing up in an African village homestead felt off limit, or they were rarely discussed, and we came to learn about some of the issues from other sources. And Irene and I, we were discussing about it, and we agreed to come up each with 2 points, because there are so many topics, but we'll just discuss each 2 points that we feel they should be normalized within an African village homestead.
So the first one is about period talk. Like for me, I've never had that topic being like no one ever talks to me about periods. I came to learn about periods in school because there are these, I think they are from always, who would go around schools and educate girls about periods and how to use the pads. And I remember they used to give us pads. Every time they come around, they give you a packet. And I think they used to take a certain age. In most cases, they would take maybe people from 75, that is around 7 years old. And maybe if they see there's someone else who is in the lower classes, but they look old rather, in such a way that maybe they might be close to getting their periods, or they are there already, they will just pick them and then you have the conversation. But the way it was like, the way even themselves they would do it, it's like, it should be done secretly. Boys and the younger ones are not supposed to be anywhere close to the place where you're doing, the talk is being done. So somehow I would say it is sounded like it's a taboo to talk about it, because I remember they, apart from the part, they used to give us a certain book, a booklet that even had a calendar that you can use to track your periods. Do you remember something like that? And I remember hiding it. We had it, a small book with, I think it had some, I don't know if it's stored, I can't remember so clearly, but I remember it even had a calendar. And I remember hiding it from my brother.
We were never given that booklet. Maybe your school was very lucky.
Yeah, we were given a certain booklet. I remember it so well. So yours, how was it?
So for me also as well, the topic about periods never came up from when I was growing up from my homestead or from any of my family members. So the first time I heard about it was, anyway, because in school you learn about reproductive system, you learn about the cycle of a lady. So one of the time, it was also always, I think, organized project whereby we were taught from class 5. The girls who were gathered in a particular place within the field, away from the boys, away from any other person, and there are no even male teachers. It's only female teachers who are there. And then we were explained about periods and how to use the pads. You are shown like a demonstration. That's what happened. That was the first time I learned about periods.
Yeah. And did you feel like the way these all these guys, the way they were addressing it, did you feel like it was helpful?
For me, I don't feel it was very helpful, because first of all, you are learning about periods from a stranger, first of all, and then you are young. Especially because for me, I was in class 6. I can remember I was in class 6, and I had not even gotten to my first period. So it will seem to be like a very irrelevant thing. We had classmates and other friends, colleagues who are already started their periods, and I think that topic was okay. So I think there must be a way, I don't know, to be able to target the right people.
Okay, for me, I feel it's good that they made that effort to
Yeah.
educate the girls, because it's good you know about it even before you get there. But the way it was done, like for me then, because I was very young and not understanding these things, I don't even pay attention. I don't even remember anything that they said. All I remember is the pad and the booklet. That's
Exactly.
all. That's why it's good if the parents do it themselves, because now when it's one-on-one, you pay attention to whatever they're saying. For me, I think now it hit me when my periods came. Mine came so early at age 12 when I was in class 8. So they came, but now they were irregular. But I had my pad, I had my packet of pads, so I used it. Then when I ran out, I don't even know how to ask for money to buy another one. So what I'll do, because we had, so we had a tuck shop and I used to sell there. So what I'll do, I just go pick and use without saying anything. But now when I went to high school, when you're doing the shopping to go to high school, I remember my aunt, because I grew up with my grandma and my aunties. So my aunt was asking me like, want to know if you're receiving you're there already, like if you're receiving your period, so that we know how to do the shopping for you. And I was like, yeah. And then they were like, where do you get the pads? I just sent like from the shop. They said it's okay, but we should have told us. But it ended there.
For me, I think now because also I think the accessibility of pads is another topic. But I think what helped me, especially to save me from that part of asking for money for pads, was because I never got my period until I was in high school. And when I was reporting, all this time I was reporting from Form 1, I used to be bought always, like I used to be bought pads. So I had a stock. I had a very big stock of pads that I never used. So when the periods came, I had enough even to use during my holidays and all that. So this topic even still never came out completely. Yes. So my first point that I'll bring is discussion about womanhood, or discussion about reproductive health care, reproductive system of a woman. Like being able to be told, it's good once you get to a certain age, you need to visit a gyna, you need to see about your fertility, if you have any issue or even infection. These are things that someone can discuss with you, or your family members can discuss with you and tell you, if you have any infection or anything, we can visit a gyna. Like that's a topic that I even came to learn about someone called gynecologist. Once I was, I think, in college.
Yeah, me too.
Because I got an issue and I was sent to a gynecologist, and I was like, oh, so there's a doctor called gynecologist. So these are topics that I feel this should also be normalized. And that's something I feel I should do that when I have kids in future. So what about you? Have you ever talked about that?
For me, it's the same case. The closest I ever came to such a talk about reproductive health is that where my mom was like, this after like an adult, I've already finished college. So there were some family members who were diagnosed with cancer. And this one, now one family member was diagnosed with breast cancer. And then she was like, you should be checking yourself too, like, touching to feel there's anything unfamiliar there. But that was it. And now, like the way you were talking about the gynecologist, if it's something that is normalized and talked about at a young age, age, you will not feel like it's a big deal as an adult.
I don't know how many of Kenyan females visit a gyna before they get to know they are pregnant, or before they have an issue, a specific issue that they want to be dealt with. It is just a topic that need to be normalized, because normally even exposed people feel like intimidated to visit a gyna.
My second topic is about grooming and kind of cleanliness as a girl or as a lady,
Mhm.
you're like, okay, they will tell you clean your underwears and clean those parts well. They do talk about that. They do try.
And they check. Sometimes they have like a what do you call it? Inspection.
Yes, that one they try. But the part that no one talks about is when it comes down to maybe shaving.
Yeah.
So when you start to learn about the importance of shaving, you have no even idea how to go about it. It's try and error. And that's when now you start having the razor bumps and all those issues.
Yeah.
And sometimes you can inflict infections to yourself because you're doing these things the wrong way. So
Yeah.
I wish someone could be guided as a child, like, okay, yeah, there's something called pubic hair, and it needs to be maybe shaven at times. It even give you the options that are available. I think I shaved my first time while I was in campus.
I can't even remember the first time I have no idea actually.
My roommate is the one who made me realize, oh, it's important to shave because she was shaving. So I was like, okay, I shaved my armpits first, and then slowly by slowly, now I went to the other parts.
On my side, I remember the first time someone told me about cleanness or, cleaning your panties and all that. Because in any case, in the village, there's no a machine you're going to throw your panty and wash there. Like you have to wash with your hands. So there was this lady, I can say she was married to one of my cousins. And I think she had some education. She had gone to Nairobi and came back. So like she used just to talk to me this day. And now actually remembering is when I realized, oh, so someone even tried to help me on this issue, but not from my mom and not from my aunties or my grandmother and all. So this lady like was telling me, oh, when you're washing your panty, you need to wash it this way. You need to turn it up. I don't know, anyway, inside out. And those are some of the things I learned from that lady. Like when it comes to grooming, I remember even the first heels I wore, she gave me. The first high heel shoes I wore was from her, of which, like, when I went to church with them, like, I was laughed at and all that. Like, so when I went to high school, I did home science from Form 1 to Form 4. So there was some, grooming subjects and courses within the home science. So that one I learned a lot, and it helped. It helped me. Yes, yeah.
That's nice.
My second point, and which I think is our last point for this video, is about sex. Yes, sex. Whew. I don't think this is a topic that is ever discussed directly within an African village homestead. Like when people discuss it, is through either a warning, someone's daughter got pregnant, and then you are told, if you go and sleep with some boys there in the village, you're going to be pregnant like this lady. Or like, or someone got some disease or okay, a good example is when someone gets an HIV AIDS, and then in the village they are known because, symptoms of HIV, especially when we were growing up, when you have HIV, people were dying in a very bad shape. So you're told when you go sleeping around with people, these are the kind of diseases you're going to bring home. And no one discusses about like what are sexual experiences that you should have. The only experiences discussed, or the only thing that is discussed about sex, is the negative aspect of sex. So like the positive never comes out in a village, homestead. I don't know about your side. I don't know.
When I was in maybe standard 6 or so, there was this girl, like our neighbor. She was in standard 8. and she had this book. It was stuff about sex, but me being naive, I had no idea what it was. So like I think I visited them, and then they were with other girls from like the neighbors. For them, they were older. For me, even in class, I think, the youngest. I was studying with people who were 4 years older than me. So for them, they are aware about these things, period, sex, blah, blah. So they'll discuss and laugh. For me, I have no idea what they are talking about. So they had this book where they had written naughty things. Like they would say like, best place to have sex. Why not a place like this, like this? Like then I wasn't even understanding anyway. So I borrowed the book because it seemed something interesting. So I borrowed the book to go and copy these naughty things. I copied, and then I forgot and left the book. No, I not actually forgot. I thought I had hidden it. So I put it under the cushion of the sofa set. And I don't know what my uncle was looking for. I thought that I grew up with my uncles and my aunties. So I don't know what he was looking for, and he found it. He went, showed his wife, and then they burnt it. They burnt the two books. Now, when I think about, because they burnt it, and then what they did next is, instead of talking to me like, nicely, I was treated of how like I'm having bad company, like I should avoid those people, like I should never be seen near them, blah, 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 blah. And I think that's when I started being withdrawn, because now I've been banned from, interaction with all these girls in the village. But now thinking about it, this was a very good chance
to teach you.
Yes, to sit me down and teach me these things, because I had no idea. I discuss about it. But actually, it's something that I came to remember later, and then I could remember just some parts of whatever was written, bits of whatever was written in that book. And now that's when I could understand them later in life as an adult. When I was copying, I had no idea what I was copying. I was just copying. But that's in a nutshell how it is in the villages. Like, it's actually sex now I can see is a taboo. Like, it's not about at all.
You just reminded me of a story. In my primary school, in my class, I used to have these classmates. I don't know whether they were dating, and in class 7 and 8, dating was also like a taboo. Like, if you're told, like, you have a boyfriend within the class, is also something that is punishable in the school. Like, when you're going, because it is a day scholar, when you're going home, you should go home and you should not be seen by, like, with a boy. If you're a girl, you should not be seen by a particular boy or a particular girl. Even during weekends, when you are not in school, you should not be seen with a particular boy. And if you ever been seen and that drama is brought now to school and it gets to the teachers, you're going to be punished. And I remember now there was this lady, this classmate, they're still a friend of mine. And she was even a prefect. I remember a prefect in the class. And there was a guy, and they were found somewhere. They were found, so I don't know what they were doing, but now it became like a stigma to them. Every time it will become like a gossip in the school. And it's a gossip that we don't want the teachers to know, because if the teachers know, first of all, the people who brought the gossip will also be punished, and the people involved in the gossip will also be punished. So there was like a song that was produced to stigmatize this couple. Like, they were, every time when people are going home or the kids are going home, when you're seeing, everyone is like, what were you doing at this particular place? What were you doing at this? But it was like a song. And it became the gossip for so many months and all that. Like, what I mean, like, even when you're not doing sex, but you were found even standing next to each other and talking on the way. That was as a problem. And it was
Yeah.
even had a connotation of, hey, maybe you're having sex or you're doing something. I don't know.
Yeah. It's like even the way we hated being like the sitting position. I don't know how your desks were in primary school. Like it's that desk that is, one thing, and then
Yeah, yeah.
so if your desk mate is a boy, like
Mhm.
it used to feel like it's a punishment, and you find yourself you're sitting at the edge. One is sitting on this edge, the other one, so that people don't start rumors. It's like there's a
Yeah,
thing.
gossips and all that. Yeah.
Yeah.
The reason why we decided to have this kind of conversation is just to share like some of the relatable things, because that we feel these topics need to be normal or need to be made um, common within homestead, especially if you're growing up or if you've grown up from the village and now you are in the city. Like just ensure when you have kids or when you have cousins or smaller nieces and nephews, these are some of the things you can discuss with them so that they don't get the information from other sources, but from someone in the family that they trust and they believe have the best interest in their heart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can also share with us your like how your experience was. Like, was it different from ours? We'd like to know. So you can share it in the comment section down below.
So yeah, thank you for following our discussion throughout this video, and see you in the next video. Bye
Bye.
bye.